All right. And we are live. The last word. LordCognito, Ebontis, Ty Guy Travis on a fresh special edition Campfire. Let's talk to the cheetah first. How we doing, sir?
Doing good. Got back into raiding this week after living in Iron Banner. I gilded Iron Lord. So I put some time in. And this guy over here. Okay. Yeah, playing a little PvP. Not like the rest of you guys. I'm still low man on the PvP totem pole, but we put some time in. We got it done.
These casuals who only have one Iron Banner, Iron Lord get seal. You know?
Are we shaming?
Shame. They haven't gilded it.
Oh, damn. That's what we doing.
How
okay.
quickly the mighty have fallen.
Oh, that's how we do. Okay, yeah. I see what we doing.
Did you? So
says
Travis?
the guy who hasn't even sealed it once. Yeah.
I got my joy. It will be gilded.
I'll say this. I did a few important things.
What you do?
One, I reset my Iron Banner rank one time, which means that I just have to reset it one more time. And I'll get the seal. And two, I completed all of the weekly challenges, which is very improbable for me because I almost never play PvP as my Warlock or my Hunter. I'm pretty much a Titan exclusive.
I'm glad you said that because I had receipts on you.
So I had to log on.
Okay, I was like, what's this?
My Hunter
I saw you rock the dress, bro.
And my Warlock in PvP, and it felt so wrong, but I did it. And I will say, I actually kind of crushed it on my Warlock. I'm not going to lie.
See, come over,
it went pretty good. It went pretty good. I was surprised.
Is that what easy? That's easy mode, right? That's what you say? It's easy mode?
Yeah, it is easy mode. So.
Those Ophidians, man. The Ophidians.
Smack.
Right.
That's exactly what I was thinking, man. That it was pretty. I wasn't as disappointed as I thought I'd be. So it was nice to come back to Titan afterward. But Warlock was decent.
What about you, Kyle?
Yeah, man, I've been playing a lot. More PvE than anything, you know what I'm saying? But I know that the crew is raiding King's Fall, and we're going to talk about all that stuff. But yeah, man, I'm just doing that. I'm really frustrated because I'm trying to get New Purpose won't drop for me in the dungeon. And what's the post for King's Fall? What, Smite of Marine?
Smite of Marine, yeah.
It won't drop, bro. I got a ton of Doom of Chelsea's though. Doom of Chelsea's, I'm lit. I'm ready. But like, yo, that post just won't drop. And it is. But shout out to Ducky. Shout out to everybody in Clan Out, PIC, y'all, Booty and all that. Salute. But yeah, man, other than that, just been rocking and rolling. But enough about me. We got an amazing guest being very patient. So let's bring him in.
All right, guys. Oh, hold on. We gotta do this in style.
Okay.
All right. Another week, boys, and another episode. Number 215, to be exact. The Fallen are not to be trusted in this slow burn season we have cooking so far, but that doesn't mean Reddit and Twitter are anything but fully ablaze at this point. We have been told Season 19 will at least in part have a Crucible focus, so who better to join us to discuss all things nasty tonight than our truly legendary guest. He started his gaming journey with his aunt in some memorable games of Mario Kart. But it wasn't until his 20s, though, did he get really into gaming. Xbox 360 started that with his journey, and you could say the rest is history. He started his content journey with early weapon and armor reviews, but when your boss doesn't understand you have to get that video uploaded right now, oh well. Over 2,000 videos later, we find ourselves in the presence of a man who would be hard-pressed to find anyone in the Destiny community who hasn't watched at least one of his videos or heard him read through the TWAB. So let's welcome a man who could MacGyver a Destiny build out of 2 shoelaces and a butter knife, has a soft spot for space station walks, fellow Husky owner, a man whose Advantage GG mystery flavor finally got revealed this week, and it's quite a tasty one. Member of Primal GG with over 1 million followers and nearly 300 million views on YouTube. And he has come a long way from his icy hot 101 days to embrace his construction heritage by wielding the only tool a Guardian could. The last Hammer Titan who always makes sure to slap that like button like your mama told you right. King of Nasty, Aztecross. How you doing, sir?
Man, what's happening? Y'all did y'all's homework, dude. I mean, just dig it all up. I love it. Thank y'all for that intro.
No doubt the legend is here. Long overdue.
And we know that your flavor is cantaloupe. We know that too.
yes, that's exactly right. Cantaloupe for sure.
No doubt, man. Let's get right to it, man. Obviously, I know normally I do the gaming history, and we're gonna get to that. But I gotta know, as a fan of yours watching content for a while, I need the whole history of slap that like button like your mama taught you. Like I need that. I just need that. When did that happen? When did that become a thing, and why? I need to know.
It was just when it's like 3 a.m. in the morning and you got a microphone in front of you and you just start saying stupid stuff. Well, that's exactly how it went. And I was just throwing together an outro for a video, and it was one take. That has been the same take since. I have never changed it up since then. It's been that way since 2016.
Damn.
So when did you know it hit though? Like, was people just like, yo, we love it? Like, how did you know to keep it?
So I threw it in, and then the next video afterwards, I didn't put, or like the next couple of videos, I didn't put it in. Everybody was like, yo, man, what the hell? Where's slap that like button? Like your mama taught you right. And I was like, wait, y'all actually like this? Like, all right, well, I guess I'll put it back in. And so then it just stuck after that.
Ooh, had to ask, man. We're going to get into more stuff. Trav, I know you got questions. E got to tell the question. I got to tell you, I don't want to hog up the time, but Trav, I'll let you go. What you got for the cross, man?
Aztecross, first of all, nice to see you again.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen you since our Fire Team chat episode in 2019. You remember this?
That's been a hot minute. Yeah,
it's been a hot minute. We were. I was still in the office in your episode. I remember
there
we
were
were on
offices.
a giant TV screen. There were offices existed back then.
Oh yeah,
right.
It was a good time. Nice to see you again. I guess I'm just gonna jump right into. The whole community knows who you are. So. What's your loadout right now, bro?
Ooh,
hit me with it. I'm jumping
go.
Right in.
I love
What's
it.
your loadout?
What we doing?
Divinity for sure.
For sure.
That's spicy. You better be careful.
I love it, man.
Look, Cog, he's got to get his use in before the nerf. You know what I mean? He's got to use it while
I'm
he
waiting
can.
on it. I feel like it's coming now, but no. This season I've been playing a lot more Titan, of course. I think Arc 3.0 is fantastic for Titans. We put out like a Lord of Thunder build, which took advantage of the storm grenades, and y'all have probably seen some clips, man, where like a single storm grenade can take out a champion. It's quite impressive. So that's been what I've been using. Yeah, very nasty.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Great.
No doubt. Mm-hmm.
What are your top picks for the weapons that have been added this season? There's a lot with King's Fall. I know people are loving those weapons.
I think the raid weapons are really, really good. But then like some other ones that kind of snuck in on me was like the new auto rifle Ammons.
Yes.
I really like that one a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's got like enhanced incandescent, enhanced surplus. And then they revamped the like the BXR 55. And so, yeah, it's a grind. You have to do Dares of Eternity. Some people are like, yo, I've done 100-something runs of Dares, and I still haven't gotten all the BXR. But, there's a bug out there. I think someone discovered it. I think Walla maybe discovered the bug where you can get early or faster access to the BXR. But regardless, that weapon's really good. Amit's really good. I know a lot of hype's been around the Out of Bounds SMG that's been really good. I've been playing with the Gambit pulse rifle.
Yesteryear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. With Desperado and so yeah, I think this season has brought some of the best weapons, primarily because and it's not just new weapons, but it's just all the revamp weapons. So it feels like new weapons. So Bungie's really set themselves up well here with weapon crafting.
No doubt. E.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna go back just to get a little history.
Yes, sir.
So I kind of wanted to actually just touch on that piece that I said in the intro, how we actually had our guest previously that we had as well kind of had a relative bring them into gaming, and you have kind of a similar story. So I kind of wanted to get your history from the first game you played to how it actually got to Destiny, because there's a big gap in the middle too. So I just wanted to get that history.
So my aunt, I would go, she and I were pretty close in age, so she was like a big sister. And we would stay up late at night, like playing Mario Kart and stuff. But pretty much outside of that, because they ended up moving. And so all through my younger years into my teen years, video games were just never allowed around the house. So I had like a Nintendo 64 one time. I made a bad grade. My dad came in and was like, took it, broke it, said, that's it, no more video games.
Oh no.
So I was like, I went in and was just hung it up after that point. I was like, all right, I'm never going to be able to play video games again. But then I discovered RuneScape when I was about 14 years old. And, that was the first MMO experience I ever had. And so it was different. And then not only was it different, I was like, what, people can see what I'm typing. They can actually see what I'm saying. And then I was like, wait, can I type bad words as well? And dude,
that's the moment 14-year-old in you.
Oh my God. I just ran around just yelling F this, F that, F you. And I mean, just all over the place. Eventually I got muted and timed out and learned my lesson. But it was an interesting experience. And RuneScape really is what, it opened me up to so many things. It showed me what true human nature is between the scammers and everything else. And so it was just, as in, I have never been scammed from anything else because of RuneScape. RuneScape taught me so much. No emails taking me by surprise. No text message. No nothing. It is because of that MMO experience that prepared me for life.
Nice. Yeah, tremendous, man. That has a lot of history. Also, what I love is that you also have that kind of traditional, what I consider like the Bungie formula most people get into Destiny, which is like a Halo as a core, that kind of transition. So I wanted to talk a little Halo with you. Like, you got some cool additions to the rankings of the franchises as far as what you like. But I wanted to know, like, did you play Combat Evolved at all, or did you kind of just okay? I just wanted to know what your history was.
I would play that with my friends. Like, I would go over to their house, and I had a buddy that had like an Xbox, and I remember specifically coming home one night, and they were like, "Yo, I think it was Halo 2." He's like, "So we're gonna go home tonight, and we're gonna play Halo Live." And I was like, "What the hell is that?" And they were like, "We're about to play other people." And that was like another level to it, because it's like, yeah, RuneScape, I could type all the bad stuff, but on Xbox Live, you could say it. And so it took it to a whole nother level. We were just being shitters for sure.
Was those lobby spices? Were you extra?
Oh man, we would just be hollering in that mic over and saying all kinds of vulgar shit that I hope my own son never says.
The toxicity was starting right there.
It was definitely in those times for sure.
Proximity chat was
proximity
that
chat,
was a vibe, dude. That was a vibe.
Yo, Trav, you didn't want to get bodied on that proximity chat. You heard what somebody said to you.
Oh, dude, I was a kid at the time, and I heard some things I should not have heard that have probably formed a lot of my unstable brain chemistry. I'm really evaluating myself, honestly. So, yeah.
No doubt. Those the days. Those the days.
Yeah, man.
No doubt.
Culture.
Oh yeah. And then you transition. He's like, lead us for Trav. But transition into Destiny. Was it just like, okay, this is Bungie's new thing?
Yeah.
And
So I was actually playing Final Fantasy 14 at the time, and I was just chilling out in that game. And I remember I had some clanmates. They played the beta for Destiny, and they came back and they're like, "Yo, man, this is the best game ever." And so I was like, all right, well, I didn't try out the beta, but I was like, okay, I'll get it on release. Didn't pay much attention to it. The game launched. I woke up that morning and was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to play this game. And I was like, I've got like an hour to kill before work. Downloaded it, started playing it. Hour goes by, didn't move. 2-3 hours go by. Anyways, I stayed in the same spot pretty much all day long. And the girl at the time I was with, she came home, and where she left me that morning, I was still in the same spot, in the same clothes, wearing the same boxers.
Woo!
And I didn't go to work that day. So
I love it.
That was the Destiny experience from the get-go. And then after that, like I never had an intention of being a content creator, but I would listen to so many people on the way to work. Mr. Fruit, Dado, I think Planet Destiny at the time. I mean, there was a lot of different content creators. And I was like, it was around when we had the cheese for the Templar. And I was like, yo, man, like I know how to cheese this guy. But at the same time, I was like, I know how to do him legit. So maybe I should make like some guides on how to do this one portion of the raid. And made a couple of videos and started throwing it out. But yeah, no, it took a while to get the ball rolling. And then not only that, a lot of the videos I would edit it at my house on my PlayStation, which was Share Factory. So it was very limited on the editing settings. My internet was so bad I couldn't even upload it. So then I would go to work the next day, upload it while I was at work using their internet. By the way, I was supposed to be a CPA at this time, or working my way to become a CPA. And then the guy, our main CPA, I balanced all his books and balanced, like, he had like a bunch of different stuff and like nursing homes and everything. And what happened over a period of a couple months was, well, all of his books went to shit. Was what really happened. He was obviously preoccupied with uploading content. And he even brought me in there. He's like, all right, what's going on? Because everything's out of whack. Everything's nuts. Long story short, I got fired. And rightfully so. I completely understand. So yeah, I ended up coming back home, looking at the girl I was with at the time. And I was like, look, I don't have a job, but I think this gaming thing's going to work out.
How'd that conversation?
Well, she packed her bags, I want to say that night. So it didn't take too long. Is
that real?
My man. She left my man's like that?
She was like, nah, you got a dream, but I ain't hanging around for it.
She's like, I ain't with this. Oh, man.
This just doesn't sound promising.
She's the wrong one, but yeah, she missed out because I think it worked out for you.
All right. Can I be petty? Like, has she seen you now?
See, this is the funny story. This is how I know I don't learn my lesson. I actually ended up marrying that girl a year later. Subsequently, we ended up getting a divorce last year. So, needless to say, fellas.
Cross, this is the wildest story.
The first time, I'm just saying, I coined it right the first time. Should have stuck by it. But I had to wait.
Were you dating my parents? Because they really didn't believe in you so quickly that I have to believe they must have been my biological parents. It's impressive, sir.
Wow, that is full circle. That's
crazy, dude.
Yo, that's wild. Anyway, moving on. I don't even know how to follow
we
that.
We didn't mean to open that, but welcome everybody to the Last Word Campfire. Aztecross, the most genuine dude you'll find in the Destiny Twitter community. Damn.
We don't often have a guest who's this real and raw with us. So he's a real one, y'all.
He's a real one.
Yeah.
He's a real one.
Drop in those super chats about his personal life because the gloves are off. Whatever you want to know.
That's real. So now you're at that point. It's got to be a pretty low point at that point. So you just hit the ground and say, you know what, I'm just going to go hard on content creation, or just like, you know what I'm going to do to keep the lights on. Like, what was that like?
So when I first started doing content creation, it was rough. Like, I would say the most money I got in a single month at that time was like maybe $300. And it just wasn't much of anything. And so I actually was going to hang it up. I was like, all right, well, I originally had a construction background. I lived in Louisiana, so it wasn't like there was a lot of different things to do other than construction. So I was like, I'll go back into construction and just do that for a bit. And so I did that for about 8 months. And I remember being out. I was actually working an interstate job. And I was just out there, and I was just like, man, something just feels like it's missing right now. Like, I feel like I need to be doing something else in my life. And so I had actually went back to my channel. It only had about 6,000 subscribers at the time. And I put out this video, and it was like, hey guys, I'm thinking about coming back. And like 50 people watched it and commented, and they were like, yo, we miss you, man. And dude, that's all. I didn't even need 5. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm coming back right now. You know what I mean?
Let's go. Let's go.
So we jumped right back into it.
And then before I give it to you, what was that moment when like that? What was the video or content for you when it hit that you like, yo, I might be on to something like this. This could be something special. Like, what was that moment for you? I'm very curious.
I think it was probably How to Titan, like you a Titan. That was the video that I was like, see, because before I think I would watch other people and be like, all right, how do I make me out of all this with all these different characters and personalities? And what had happened actually was Destiny 2 launch. It was a terrible launch. I was actually very angry with how bad Destiny 2 was handled.
Slow recharge, double primary error. Let's go.
Yeah. And so that video was actually me voicing my frustrations. It was, you know, we made it funny and stupid, but it was actually me extremely annoyed with the state of Destiny 2. And what resonated was, I was like, yo, actually, it's okay to not give a fuck. Like, it really is okay to not care and say what pops into your head. And so that was kind of the moment there.
No doubt, no doubt. B?
Yeah. I mean, you're just literally on trajectory for the moon. I mean, you're one of the ones that I definitely expect to hit like 1 million subs. That's one of those inevitable things. It's not like if, it's when. But I wanted to ask, because I mean, if you sort in reverse order and you go look at like first YouTube video versus now, anybody's like, I don't want to go look back at those old ones because I wouldn't want to either. But like, I mean, because I worked with Luke to work on getting you on here. And then I know you've mentioned like less before in your streams and stuff like that. And you've got your raid team doing all your testing. Like at this point, I'm kind of curious. Do you just have this like enterprise of editor and Photoshop, or like how much is you, how much is a team? Like I'm just kind of curious, like at your scale, because I mean, you are daily constantly putting these things out. Like what is your routine at this point like for kind of the output that you've got, because it's crazy high quality all the time, doesn't really stop. So I'm just kind of wondering for everybody out there, like what it takes to do this like Aztecross does.
Right. I would say for the longest time I try to do everything myself. But the balance was really, because I wanted to make videos on YouTube, but I also wanted to be a streamer. And it's just so hard to do both of those. So you normally have to choose one or the other. And so I essentially started hiring people. Luke is a big part of it. I've got Jared, I've got Hammer, Harlan, and a couple other guys over the years. And essentially, you know, I kind of told him, I was like, look, I want to stream. And then I want you guys to take care of the YouTube front, you know? And so that happened, I would say this time last year, we started to get into that flow around Witch Queen is when we started to like get an understanding of how we all work together. And then I would say just a season ago is when we were like, okay, this is our formula. This is how we're gonna do this. And I've also had a lot of help with other things like my clanmates, my friends like Les and Bombad and Jay and Eddie and all those guys over the years, like being able to rely on them and bounce things off of them, whether it was sandbox stuff or just, you know, general stuff going on in the Destiny community. That was a huge help.
Nice. Trev?
Do what?
No, look at that, Trav. He got that contemplation face. What is he doing that?
I'll save my questions for later. E, bring us home. What do you got? What do you got for him?
What do I got?
I got more.
Yeah, I was like, go back to Cog. Go back to Cog. Yeah, there you go.
Nah, just, you know, these guys are fun with it because it's funny that you're here because it's like, watch your videos, watch your content, huge fan of you, you know, one of the top guys in the game. And like, I love what you said about like adding your personality to it. Now, I got to admit, I'm a Warlock to my core, of course. And normally, Cog don't take no Warlock slander from no content creator. But you are the only one that says, hey, if you want to rock a dress, do it together. And I'm like, yo, he wild funny. Like, I can't even get mad. So I'm surrounded by two Titans all the time. Here you come, the Titan of all Titan. Let's talk classes. Like Titan class, the love for it, maybe like your favorite Titan metas. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me the love for the class when it really, really resonated with you.
Well, you know, for me, Titans, you know, they're Spartans. From Halo, that's what I see. Don't get me wrong, Warlocks, you know, they're cool. They're the wizards, you know what I mean? So still still wearing dress.
They look good at a ball.
That's it. That's right.
They're ready for prom all the time.
And then hunters have always pissed me off since day one. Just because of
Let's get some Hunter Slander.
and-
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, I hate when a hunter jumps, especially like back in the day on console.
Verticality is such bullshit.
You just lose them completely, you know. And so but Titans, they resonated with me because I was just like, this is a true Spartan, and it reminded me so much of like Noble Team as well. So and Halo Reach. I mean, look, I love all the Halos, but Halo Reach, that was the one. That was the one that sealed the deal for me.
Yeah, fire.
Interesting.
We had to get that out.
I know you were going to go Warlock. Well, I got to go Titan.
Let's go.
So for me, when I started, I'll admit, I was a hunter for first year.
Okay.
I'll admit.
Yeah.
I was hunter for first year.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
He was experimenting.
I was experimenting. You do that.
He was
in
finding
college.
himself.
Yeah, you were finding. I was finding myself exactly. But when Taken King came out, I saw the light, and that light was the Titan Hammer. Now I've loved Titan Hammer ever since. Have you always? Because I mean, you literally say the last Hammer Titan. It's plastered everywhere. Have you always been Hammer since like Taken King? Have you varied? Like where's your Titan subclass tendencies gone?
It's a variety of things. I would say I was definitely Hammers the most toward like Rise of Iron into Destiny 2, and I played a lot of Hammer then, and that was around the time where especially when D2 first launched, like nobody was really playing Hammers. Yeah. Everybody was on Fist of Havoc. It's like Top Tree. Fist of Havoc was really, really good. And of course, you had like because of the double primary system, having 2 pulse grenades was really beneficial. So that's whenever I started throwing things out like the last Hammer Titan. And then of course you had your lore people came in and was like, actually, you kind of are the last Hammer Titan because they all got killed. You know what I mean? So there was some narrative backing there. But yeah, no, the Hammer was always a fun one. Just you almost feel it when you throw it, right? Like it's like it really is an extension of you.
Yeah. I will say as one of all Titans, can the sledgehammer, the big hammer middle tree is what it used to be, can that thing ever get fixed? Because I still will never use it now, even if we have Solar 3.0. Am I missing something, Cross?
When you say fixed, which part about it?
I don't like throwing.
Yeah,
the hit registration, throwing the little fire tornado just has never felt as good as like throwing the hammers. And now you have throwing hammers and sunspots. I'm like, I don't know how that one can ever compete, but that's just me.
The only way if it can, remember, I think it was maybe Season of Opulence. They had buffed the Burning Maw super. Because remember, it would actually like go completely around a corner and track Guardians down. And I think it was Gigs that actually put out a clip and was like, yo, this is ridiculous. And they ended up toning it down.
Spin to win days, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so if they brought that back, then, I would 100% use it. And it has some level of tracking, but it's nowhere near as potent as it was then. But considering its cooldown, because it does have a faster cooldown than the regular hammer. So, yeah, if it brought that tracking back, I would give it a go.
Nice.
No doubt. Well, quick question. Most obnoxious PvP meta.
Oh.
God, there's so many.
Shatter Dive.
Shatter Dive was definitely one that left you feeling absolutely helpless.
Hollow.
You're just like, what? How do I even combat this? Clever Dragon also dominated in a way that
Clever Dragon.
You had to use Clever to combat Clever. And what was so crazy was like that was nothing related to abilities. That was just the weapon by itself. I think that firebolt grenades in year 1 of Destiny 1 were also really, really good with Viking Funeral. Because somebody could tag you with a single shot of a hand cannon and then follow with a firebolt grenade, and you would just burn out. You'd run around the corner. And back then we didn't have class abilities, so it wasn't like you could run around the corner, pop a barricade or pop a rift to heal yourself back up. You just died.
You burnt out.
Yeah, you just burnt out. And so there's been a lot, and then some I'd say like Uriel's Gift was an annoying meta, but it wasn't like too overwhelming, which is more annoying than anything. I would say, I hate to throw my fellow Titans under
Let's
the bus.
go. Tell the truth, shame the devil. I know where you're going to go. I think I know.
Say One-Eyed, I know.
Let me see. I know which one.
I think One-Eyed Mask back in its prime.
Thank you.
It was way too hot, and I try to lie, man. I mean, I made multiple videos being like, "Nah, it's fine, it's balanced." And we were bullshitting like crazy. I was like, "No, I hope they don't nerf this," but it was way too overtuned.
Thank you. I respect that from a Titan. Yo, y'all had me shook, man. That little light, that thing go over you, that indicator, and y'all come with that over shit. I'm like, oh man,
that tracking everywhere. You know, that was even crazier.
No doubt. I'm sorry. I had to ask him. I just had to ask.
No, that's totally fair. But I also wanted to ask, like, we are year 8 in this game. Recently, you were on Mylan's Trivia Game Show, which was a great watch. If you guys haven't watched that yet, please go watch that. That is amazing. Did the lore interest, because I mean, more and more recently, even Mylan was like, "Yo, Cross, can you step out of my lore game? Because that was even funny." He's like, I got my one thing that I do. Don't take it from me." Have you been into the lore for the entire time? Has it kind of grown? Has it been a recent thing? How much have you been into the lore? Because I know now you're even talking about the weekly story and kind of keeping up with it. So where are you at when did that start? And then also I want to ask you, where do you think this season now is kind of headed as well?
Well, I think for me, lore-wise, it started this time last year. And it actually just started with like me going live on Tuesday. And we would watch like either Bice videos or Mylan's videos before reset just to kind of get a refresh on what was happening with the lore. And so a lot of that was just like me watching it with everybody. And then that's when it started to hit me. I was like, holy hell, there's so much to the narrative here. And from the seasonal stuff to the big annual expansions, even way back to D1. And so, I started getting into it then. I'm definitely by no means an expert. I try to keep up with just general lore. We definitely saw that in the game there that night. I got my ass beat in the lore there, but it's still so much fun to just sit down and read the things on like weapons and stuff like that, and just see how it all connects. And as far as this season go, man, I love the interaction between Spider and Misrax.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what he called about his name? He's like, "Joseph, don't let me." I was like, "Damn, Mithrax is like that."
Dude,
like, yeah,
it's wild. Cause Spider, he's normally top dog everywhere he's at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to see him just kind of shrink away in fear at Mithrax, it was like, holy hell! Like, what was this guy like back in his prime then, or back in his in his rough days? And then Ido's trying to pry around, and so I'm really curious to know, like, all right, how bad is bad? Like, what kind of bad shit did we do back in the day? What egregious stuff that he just absolutely doesn't want his daughter to know about?
Yeah.
And then of course we've been collecting the relics, and so there's a lot tied to that. But we looked through some of the lore on that one, and we're speculating that it could be something related to Nezarec.
Oh,
and I know Mylan has actually put out videos on Nezarec, who was either one of the disciples or maybe still a disciple of the Witness.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be extremely powerful. Not really sure like what happened to ruin that discipleship.
Interesting. Yeah, man, that's a deep one. Yes, I did hear some about there's some extreme significance with these relics, I guess, that we're bringing back. Interesting. No doubt.
What about you, other gentlemen? I was like, Travis, have you been keeping up with the story this week? I mean, Cog and I were talking about before either of you got here, so I kind of wanted to see what your take was.
Yeah, my take is that I like the story, but the bites are so incredibly small that I'm finding a really hard time to do it. Like, they essentially are just giving me a tweet every week of story, which is kind of upsetting, It's just before it even begins, it's sort of over. So I just wish there were a little more meat on the bone, but the stories they tell are good. It's just you have to play a repetitive game type, and then you barely get half of a dialogue snippet out of it. So it's just a little slow.
Yeah, right. little smaller than usual.
That's seasonal model. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it was Cog and I were talking before the show. We had Season of the Risen was 4 weeks, but that was 4 meaty. It was quick, but they were pretty meaty weeks, and Witch Queen was kind of keeping the rest of the flow going. And then we got obviously last season, Season of the Haunted, and just everything, emotional baggage and background and resolution every other week is this roller coaster. Now we get to this one where it's like, here's this, as you're getting thrown a crouton on your salad kind of every week, and you're trying to build it up. And it just, you guys have all said it. It's like, it's just little slow bits right now. And I'm just waiting till they dump everything on the tray in like week 7 and it just kind of happens. But I just don't know. I don't know if the payoff is going to be worth it being quite this fast. It feels like, I guess for maybe me, it's pacing, but I got to see where it lands.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think, like I said, they're going extremely light per week. You know what I'm saying? As far
how many
as
weeks
like,
are we thinking? Is it going to be like
it's
6
8.
like last season?
It's 8.
Oh, it's 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They're adding 2
At
weeks
least
per season, huh?
At least the triumphs are 8. So we'll see.
Yeah. What's going on with this game, man?
Yeah. So last week, here, I'll cover the fun stuff first before we get to all the drama fun. Last week was Eruption. As I said, I've played a lot of that. I gilded Iron Lord, so I played enough to reset, and I had a blast. I haven't had that much fun in a while. We got a little bit on map waiting, which definitely would probably play into that a little bit now if you look back, but I had fun in Eruption because it just, even though it's not momentum control with a different feel of the guns, I think just the you must go all the time kind of nature felt different to me. And I just wanted to get your guys' takes on, is Eruption something you'd like to see back frequently, not so frequently? Did you like it? Did you hate it? I heard mixed reviews on like firing range. So I'm just kind of curious where everybody landed.
Okay, Cross, what do you feel about Eruption, man?
I have to always applaud Bungie for, actually giving us something in PvP because we don't get much. So,
that's the thing. You're going to like this show. That's our theme, too. Continue.
Yeah. If I was to sit there and smack it down, it would just... I don't want to deter Bungie from ever bringing us PvP content. But I did enjoy it because it was like a combination of like Clash and then like morphed into like Mayhem. And you saw multiple people getting like 7th columns and everything once you got the ball rolling. And it was nice to be able to sway that momentum even as a solo player, right? So I enjoyed it. There was a lot of people I know coming by the stream. It's like, I wish they would just add like a no ability Iron Banner, like no super, no abilities, just weapons. And people, they may like that, but I don't really think many people would like that as much as they think they would like it. People like to be able to just do crazy stuff with their supers and get those freebies. That's kind of part of it. I guess the comparison would be between Eruption and Rift. I think that Eruption was better received than Rift was.
Yeah. Trav, Eruption. How you feeling, man?
I really like Eruption. I thought I wasn't a huge fan of Rift, even though I loved Rift back in D1. It just sort of didn't feel the same. Maybe some issues with the way scoring worked and how long matches went on, and the fact that you could shoot while you were a carrier, all of which was sort of different. But something about that mode just didn't really stick with me. But this felt new. It was interesting. It encouraged you to play for survival, which I thought was cool, but also be aggressive, especially once you activated your Eruption and were surging. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, even when I was solo queuing, I had fun, and I played probably 50-50 solo queue and with friends. I really enjoyed myself, reset my rank once, and I'm looking forward to do it again. I think this just kind of goes to show how little effort you could put into PvP for such a large return on your investment, your development time. And it just kind of, for all the haters out there that say, forget about PvP, it doesn't really matter. It's like, that you can't create enough PvE content to keep the community fed. Like PvP is where it's at because you can go a really long time with a small amount of content. Just adding one simple game mode that really isn't that crazy or out there at all, sort of exists in other games even, was a huge breath of fresh air, I felt like, and something new to experience in Destiny, and kept me entertained for, probably a dozen hours or however long I put into it this week. So yeah, I have notes. I don't think it's a perfect mode.
I'm sorry, the critic has notes? No.
Yeah, the critic has notes. I've never said anything was just good and that's it. I absolutely hate the dialogue that clearly does not fit the game mode. Like it's so cringe, the fact that they just reuse that dialogue. Everything belongs to you. Every what? Be more specific, Saladin, because I don't think you're. I think you phoned this one in. I'm talking to a voice message system. This doesn't feel genuine, bro.
Yeah, Brackus Forge is busy right now.
Yeah,
he can't get his device
he is
together.
busy. He's busy. Maybe somebody else should host Iron Banner if he's going to phone it in like this. All right. Anyway, yeah, I have notes. I have notes about the mode and certain stuff about it, and it does feel like very much like minimum effort. Like they just pushed this thing out there and didn't even record original voice lines for it. So yeah, but other than that, I had a lot of fun, and I just kind of like Aztecross. I'm like almost afraid to just dunk on something they did for PvP because I have full Stockholm syndrome and just want them to, I want them to notice me at all, even if they're hitting me. You know what I mean? You guys get it?
Yo,
yeah. This analogy works, right?
All right, some fun relationships here.
Yeah, this is analogy. We can, anyway.
Mm-hmm. Moving on past the awkward, how'd you feel?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, man. I like when they reward the slaying out, and people who can keep that momentum going. It's a nice change of pace. I love control, but we've been controlling for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, for me, I'm like, all right, this is cool. And, look, I play with, I got some shooters on my team. I am not the top guy. So I let them do their thing. You protect them, and it goes with a nice flow with the mode. I like them to continue on. I want to see more things like this. I want them to get creative. I think for me right now, I just want base level stuff like maps on a regular, basis. Map voting, that would be nice when, you get something that comes up and, being that they created that already. I know I sound like I'm complaining and we just got a new mode, but like, this is a nice baby step to what we need to go to. This mode, this side of the game is severely neglected. And I'm glad that, even they said next season they're going to have a more renewed focus. I'm not trying to go crazy hard on them, but this has to continue. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to. That we really, when Destiny PvP is fed and it's good, this game will survive. You know what I mean? PvE, don't get me wrong, I love it. It's always going to be one of the core things. I get it. But when PvP is good, when Trials is good, when competitive and ranked modes are good and rewards are there, this thing becomes special. It becomes a complete package. And I just wanted what's best for it. So hopefully it's continued to trend in this direction. We get more modes, more stuff like that. But yeah, for a new one, absolutely. I definitely liked it. Step in the right direction.
So before we get into the nasty topics, I wanted to have a little fun thought experiment with you guys. Cross, you're going to be on deck first. So 2 questions. I want to see what you guys say. And mostly because we've talked about some of these before, so I wanted to get your takes first. 1, if you could make a PvP mode, what would it be? Ooh. And then number 2, Season 19 supposedly has a rework for comp. What would you like that to be?
All right. So game mode wise, I would want them to bring back all the really, really big maps from D1 back into the game and open things up to 12v12.
Oh.
And it would be, I think it would be just fine though. I mean, when you think of those old maps like Bastion and stuff, I mean, those were really, really big maps, almost too big for, or arguably too big for 6v6. But 12v12, it'd be perfect. Yeah.
Okay. You're doing like big team battle.
Yeah, pretty much like big team battle.
Okay.
Or counter proposal.
1v1.
4v4v4v4.
Sure. I mean, that was always fun. Or what was the Halo mode where it was like 2v2v2v2?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Extra doubles. I would love if they would play around with more than 2 teams. That's always been a pet peeve of mine because so many other games do it well. It's like, just throw more people in there. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Right. Mm-hmm. That would be good. And as far as rework for comp,
yes.
I think that they've played around so much with what the true ranking system is, and they've gone back and forth on that to the point where it's like, let's give everyone a shot at getting the pinnacles, because remember it was like Luna's Howl and Recluse, and they made things easier. And you know, you could roll things back, and you can bring weapons like Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl back into the playlist, and overnight everyone will be playing comp again.
Wait, are you implying that good rewards would incentivize play? Are you implying that, Aztecross? I'm just,
he's,
something that
he's poking the Travis bear right now. So there's more to that.
Travis. I'm not. No, it wasn't a Travis shot. This is just me.
It's a Travis shot.
It's a double-edged sword.
I'm just asking.
Own it, Cog.
All right, damn it, it's a Travis shot, and I shot it.
That's right.
It's 100% a double-edged sword for sure. But if you're purely looking to like go, all right, how do we get people to jump in the playlist? That would do it. You throw another weapon up there with Magnificent Howl again, everybody's gonna go for it.
Correct.
And what?
But let me just let's expand this experiment to see if we can uncover some more truths on top of this. It is certainly true that if you put a valuable reward behind a playlist that nobody wants to play, they will play it, because as we know, the Destiny community has no bounds when it comes to their depths of self-hatred and the things that they will subject themselves to. Therefore, if you put a great reward behind Gambit and you made me play it for 500 hours, thousands of people would do it in Destiny because of a deep sense of self-loathing, deeply seated. However, wouldn't it be better, and wouldn't there be less pressure to create valuable rewards if you simply fixed the content/enjoyment of game modes problem that exists in various things like Crucible, like Gambit, etc., which are plainly not fun, and which is why they are so heavily incentivized to provide rewards, because they do not stand on their own merit. Maybe that's my counter shot at Cog.
I do. I can see where you're coming from. The issue with all these is somebody's got to lose every game, you know. And it could be a really fun game mode, but people, especially Destiny players, they hate to lose, especially if their rank is going down, you know, or they're falling at the lighthouse, right? Yeah. So it's a tough one on that, but yeah, making the game mode more enjoyable. And I enjoyed when Luna's Howl first launched, and like the quest that was designed there, because remember you had to get hand cannon kills, and then it had to be like solar weapon kills and stuff like that. So it was definitely a grind. Everybody was bitching and moaning on Reddit and Twitter and elsewhere, but it made for good content. So it's two different perspectives I have to give. It's like, you know,
both like both. Oh, okay. We can be in the middle. It can be done. They're not mutually exclusive. Cool. I like that. You just jumped in the middle of some drama. Don't even pay us no mind. Like me and Travis are being super petty right now. We're at the expense of you, but we love your answers.
We're the divorced parents, and you're the kid that we're sending back and forth with messages against each other. Yeah. Ask your mom, about this.
It's like Aztecross here, so now we get to talk our talk.
Okay, so let me ask this. Being as you are, obviously you do all facets of this game, but PvP is a big piece of what you do and always has been. When it comes to, all of you guys have played Halo, and now things like Apex, do you think a ladder ranking system would fit in the comp playlist? Do you feel that is something very strict matchmaking, ladder ranking, you're going gold 1, 2, 3, silver, bronze, that type? Do you think that would actually work within Destiny?
I think it would. I think it see, you want to get sweaty players out of the casual playlist like Control and stuff. You give them a flex.
Let's go.
Give them an exclusive emblem. Even an exclusive emblem, they will go out of their way and sweat their balls off every single day just to get there. And you won't ever have to worry about them being in, a Control playlist or wherever, the new light players are or casual players are, which I know they have skill-based matchmaking for that now. But, yeah. And then, of course, you have the ranking systems where, it's like you match other people that are ranked. Destiny's a weird system because you know, they have like they reward however much rank based on what they think your internal rank is, right?
Yep.
And then of course you don't really. I think is that now you have a threshold where you don't go below a floor once you reach a certain rank. So like once you get there, you don't actually like lose rank. I don't know. It's been a minute since I played comp. I will say though, if they had a true ladder system, it would be a humbling experience for many Destiny players. Then they may not like it. They may not like looking and being like, "Oh, I'm just bronze." You know, I'm just silver, you know.
Bronze 3 and working my way up. Here we go.
You know, so and that's you know, that's a humbling experience. But you know, a lot of people tend to take that and they get really angry and go elsewhere with it. And Bungie, they tune into that feedback. They want everyone to be happy, but you can't make everybody happy.
That's what I was actually going to say. Is like Bungie is typically, and we've seen this a lot with you, as you said, everything now goes. You know, you got things at 2100 and it was easier to do the quests, and, you know, even Mountaintop was a grind, but I was able to solo it because I only had to get to 2100. Took a little work, but I got there. And now you can hit below a floor. Do you think, I mean, we'll get into the whole casual and SBMM here in a minute, which is all sorts of fun, but do you feel Bungie is almost, and this is for all three of you guys, do you feel Bungie is almost, as Cross is saying, is almost afraid of, you know, making the player face sometimes just like some tough love to actually say, hey, you're silver 1. This is where you landed, and you go up a little by little, and then you win, you lose, and you win, you lose, and you hang right there. Are they not wanting to actually present somebody with that fact that this is kind of how, you know, that you guys get what I'm saying? Do you guys think Bungie is almost afraid to be honest sometimes with the players?
I don't think so, because they've put a trials mode in where you can fail your card and get denied the ultimate prize, and most people end up in that bucket. They've created, modes where you can fail, and they've let people fail at them. I think they're afraid of letting the community fail. Like if they did a community event, to do so many strikes, I think that they would never let that happen. But yeah, I think. I honestly think it has more to do with the infrastructure. Once you build a ladder system and you do sort of like seasonal stuff, it puts a lot of pressure on the team to keep that system running, right? Keeping the trains going on time. You have to reset every season. You have to make it very clear what rewards you get at each tier. You have to. It's a lot of infrastructure, and so my guess would be, when they announced a while back that they were going to be reinvesting with Crucible, this is probably one of the things that they've been working on, but it's probably just a ton of work. It's basically like building a second live service team.
Yes.
And a lot of games that have this ladder system, that's their whole live service.
Yeah,
Apex Legends, that's their entire live service. Fortnite, that's kind of their entire live service. It's less competitive. Rocket League, that's their entire live service. It is a lot to take on. So my guess is that right now they're building the bones to support it, because they'd be crazy not to. I mean, I have to believe that. I have to hope that. Otherwise, why am I continuing to play Destiny as a PvP main? But yeah, I'm hopeful that they will do it, and I do not think it's a matter of them being afraid to let people fail. And, you know, to Aztecross's point, yes, it is humbling to be a bronze, but it's also a lot of fun to know where you are and to fight your way up that battle and to see the next tier, the next rank, and the prizes you unlock if you manage to climb your way up there. I think Destiny really needs that, because anything is better than non-skill based matchmaking where you get thrown into a group of people of varying skill levels. You have no idea where you stand, and you either get trounced or you destroy the other team, and you just have no idea of your standing. That's just not great. That's not a great environment to live in if you're trying to foster a competitive landscape. And so I'm hoping that they will tackle this soon.
Yeah, got too much to add there. Both of you guys on fire. Yeah, I think that's what the mode is called, competitive. Just the pure nature of it. So listen, I'm not trying to get elitist, but I'm always of the mindset that there are some things, I know my limitations as a player, and there's some things I'm just not going to get, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with my skill gap and where it is. You know what I mean? There's some people on my team that are just like wizards. You know what I'm saying? That's cool if I get that strong carry, no doubt. but off of me, you know what I'm saying, is I have my limitations. You know what I'm saying? That's why I know when he was talking about trials and when freelance came on and stuff, and how I was noticing the matchmaking was a little wonky sometimes, because I felt like, man, like I would never get matched. Like if I am the best player, then I know we got a problem on this fire team kind of thing. And I just felt it was a little off. So I'm always gonna kind of lean towards skills-based matchmaking in general, in as far as putting people kind of correctly where they should be ranked. I do understand, hey, people don't want a sweaty match all the time. But at the same time, my counter to it is like, well, there's these other modes. There's the control. There's the, what is it? It's the glory, and then what's the other? I mean,
glory and valor.
Valor, right? The valor playlist to me serves that purpose. Like, if you don't want to do that, then maybe they should experiment there. I know we're gonna get into the TWAB and all that stuff, but that's just my main thoughts on it. I just want, like Cross said, I want the competitive guys, and this is speaking for me, who's not a top guy, I want them to be able to flex. That's one of the things that got me into the game. When I remember jumping in D1 and I looked in the tower and I saw someone in full Egyptian regalia, I'm like, yo, where did you get that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like Trials of Osiris. I'm in. I need to be the Pharaoh. I got to at least try. And every week I tried, I got my first boots, and I'll never forget, I got my first doctrine of passing. It was whatever that role. And bro, I was so proud of that non-adept doctrine of passing, bro. I worked for that. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that got me better. That made me commit. That made me say, you know what? Each week, yes, I was getting trounced a lot of weeks, but it gave me incentive to come back. And I just think that, you know, not everything is for everybody, and that's okay. I honestly think it's okay. I don't think it's nothing wrong with that. I think that competitive mode, the guys that really put it in deserve, even on a base level, like an Emblem. Hey, yo, he got that. He did that. Especially cosmetics. Let's not let it live on test store all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since we seem to be rolling into it pretty naturally, skill-based matchmaking. We are 4 weeks into the season now. We've had the control experiment. We got a little bit in the TWAB that there will be some adjustments, I think, either have been or are coming for high and low end. And I just kind of wanted to get everybody's, you know, if you've played any control, have you been avoiding it? And also, now that the quitter penalties showed up this week, if you have any opinions about those as well. So Travis has a interesting look on his face, so I'll throw it to Cross first. How has PvP been for you just this season? Now that SBMM's been in there a little bit, we've got Iron Banner kind of thrown in the mix. Like, when you jump in, how has it treated you? Because I'm going to put you in the upper echelon for sure.
Well, I've experienced skill-based matchmaking multiple times in Destiny, but it's been with a variety of different metas. I would say that it's difficult to enjoy control right now because, I mean, everyone is when you get to that point, good players stick with each other. And that's what annoys me the most in 6v6, because skill-based matchmaking, I could probably handle it in an environment like a 3v3 skirmish. That's a little more, you know, I'm going to be playing more team-oriented. But 6v6, we've been conditioned for so long to just be very chaotic about it, run around, get some kills. And then all of a sudden, we're thrown in there with a bunch of sweaties, and everybody's like, okay, no, we're about to sweat our balls off here. Everyone is team shotting. People are dodging behind corners the moment they take the smallest amounts of damage. They're playing stupid patient, you know, willing to take the whole game to time. And it's like, for what? What are we doing this for? I'm just trying to get kills with this 450 round per minute auto rifle so I could say it's somewhat good and make a video out of it. But, you know, I would say that I know they did it because of Epic Games. They did it because they had all these new players coming in. And those new players trying out Crucible for the first time, if they were to just get shit on, you know, they probably wouldn't want to continue playing the game. And since Fortnite is such a, you know, like a PvP focused game, like, you know, it would definitely deter them. So I understand why it's in the game. I've even seen people tweet, you know, veteran players saying, like, I very much enjoy Crucible for the first time ever because of skill-based matchmaking. And so when I see that, I'm like, all right, well, at least they're having a good time.
Damn, Cross. You being honest, though. I respect it. You being honest. He ain't about that. No doubt, Trav.
Yeah, I felt pretty good about skill-based matchmaking. It is true that on average the average match is sweatier because you're playing people at your skill level. No matter what tier you're in, you're going to feel under more pressure to compete. But you also run into fewer matches where you're hysterically overpowered and stomping the team, or just getting stomped yourself, which neither of those experiences feels good. And I would much rather feel like I have to compete than to be put through either of those hells. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. It's also, frankly, these days I don't have enough time to play Destiny, unfortunately. And so my skills have atrophied in Crucible quite a bit. And so it's nice to kind of go against, people that also maybe are a little rustier. And then throughout Iron Banner, see myself kind of move up into a higher echelon as I rehone and reprove myself to Destiny's algorithm. So I felt pretty good about that. Quitting penalties.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Go for it. Quitting is stupid. Why do you quit? Why would you do that?
Why you quitting, bro?
I see some people that are like, "Oh, I can't believe I got this on a casual playlist." I'm like, dude, it's dickish in strikes to quit. Like, why quit at all? Like, what are you doing? So
why are you quitting, like bro?
You should have to pay 10 legendary shards if you leave, and those 10 legendary shards should be distributed. It should be distributed among the teammates you left behind. Your teammates should get your shards that you left behind as payment for you leaving.
My husky threw up in the other room. I gotta go take care of something. That doesn't count? No? Still taking my shards?
No.
Okay.
No.
What did the DoorDash came? You had to go get the food. Come on. Sometimes things happen.
You can plan, my friend. You can plan a DoorDash. You can know that you're going to be eating. And also, it's not that big of a deal. Like, who does it? It's just rude, bro. It's rude. Like, it's like you signed up to do this thing. You clicked the button. You knew what you were doing. You committed, and then you show up and you're like, I'm not feeling it. I don't like this map. I died a couple times. It's like, all right, fine, quit. But if you do, pay the fee, bro. Pay the fee.
Paying like the bridge troll over here.
Bridge troll.
Look, you sign up to do something and you cancel. There's a cancellation fee. Okay. There's a cancellation fee because it's rude. They reserved the table for you and you didn't show up. So all I'm saying is, if you abandon my team, I should get some legendary shards from you as a token, a gesture of goodwill. You dick. That's what I say. So I have no problem with the penalties. I say, bring it on. Make them harsher.
What about the warning though? They can't get the warning like, yo, bro, if it happened again.
That's fine.
All right, so we can be there. We can be there. Give me a warning. Because sometimes I gotta go to the bathroom. What happened?
You can get your once or twice, a week or a month or whatever, mulligans. Things happen, but this isn't for them. This is for the habitual quitters. These are for the whiny little bitches who just, they don't like something about the map.
It ain't go their way. It ain't go their way, so they out.
This is the Teddies of the world who just
they're
he
farming their KD.
By the way. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway.
Well, there's two sides of a coin for you.
I got my bars off. I was just instigating. I just wanted to know where he was going.
I should have expected, but part of like the quitter penalty, I think, brings up a bigger issue, which is one of the things I actually talked about in the TWAB, which was map waiting. And I think you guys half of you have mentioned it today. Map voting is something I know a lot of people would love to have in the game because they're favorites, but you're like, hey, if I vote, and whether it's, like Mario Kart style on Switch, where it's just like pick a random person's vote or something, every so often you would basically get a chance to, have a map that you want to play, or at least typically vote away from the one that you don't want to play. And we actually got to see the two new maps. We had Disjunction a lot, and we also had Cathedral of Dusk, I think if I have the names right. Yep. Both of those were weighted very high. Like, the words they chose for weighting was weird, but they're like full weighting and then increased weighting. I'm like, I thought full was like 100%. So then we're above full. I thought the wording was weird, but that aside, they're bringing those down literally in the hotfix today. So I haven't tested it yet. Most of them are evenly weighted. 5 are a little less, and like 4 toast for whatever reason. I don't know why. Do you guys think map voting would help. I mean, granted, yeah, as you said, your food comes, your dog's in the other room, kid fell down. Sometimes you just, I gotta bail. I don't care. So it's like, yeah, some warning they could put on there, be like, hey, you abandoned a match. We built this match around the skill based for you. Please stay if possible. Like, if you do it 4 or 5 times in a row, like Teddy, as you said, sure. Hit him on the wrist, hit him. I will say, if you dock somebody in Ascendant Shard, they are going to stay in that match and hold that bathroom break right there and be like, whoa, I just got docked in Ascendant Shard.
Don't you take my golf ball.
Golf ball stays right there. No, that's a little extreme. But I think map voting is something I don't think I've seen asked for as much as I have on Twitter recently. And I think it's because they have new maps and they're like, hey, we want to see them. I want to see it like once or twice and then have it even the rotation. I don't need to see it 100 times and be like, all right, I know Disjunction. I got it. It's long. I already played it a lot in Rift. I'm good. And they said they do that for seasons. And no, it makes a lot of sense now that we're seeing some of these maps a lot more frequently. So I was just kind of curious if you guys, how would you picture map voting on screen? Would you do it kind of in the corner? Would it be a big pop up and just kind of 1, 2, 3? Technically, I have no idea how hard that is to do. Not a developer. But as you said, they used to do it. Somebody probably knows how to do it. I just don't know how hard that's going to be. Again, they could blow us away in Lightfall and Season 19 and Crucible, who knows? But right now, it's all the speculation of we're getting these little pebble drops in the pond of Crucible stuff. And even me not being a Crucible player, I'm like, hey, what about this or this? And you guys have been thinking this stuff even longer. So I want to ask you, map voting, is that kind of important to you guys? And then we're going to touch on Divinity because we can't not.
Oh, we got to touch on Divinity. Yeah, Cross.
It's too much fun.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah, I'm down. What Cross? What map voting, man? Where you at?
So yeah, I think map voting would be good. I did see what a lot of people, because a lot of people brought up other games that have map voting, and they were like, what ends up happening in those situations is, especially teams, you would have people just select the same maps over and over. Like if Burning Shrine or Burnout was an option, it would probably be selected every single time. Or Dead Cliffs. I mean, I love Dead Cliffs. So I mean, those maps would be played over and over and over again, which would then lead into different statistics for the meta. When they overweight maps like Disjunction and Cathedral Dust, they're able to come back and say, see, scout rifles are good.
That's you're not wrong. I didn't think about that.
Fair point. Good point.
I know there's a lot of reasoning behind why they did this, and of course it's a new map, so they want people to play in them and stuff like that. But that's kind of their influence on the sandbox, and so in some ways it's like their way of tuning lightly on that front and get people to get out of that hand cannon shotgun meta. But map voting would be nice. I would like, it's not priority number 1 for me, but it would still be nice. And then I think they need to get rid of whatever that increased weighting, like just put everything at the same rating overall, and don't remove maps. Like I don't even know why three of the best maps in the games are not even like in rotation. Just put it all on the same level playing field, let it be RNG, and just go from there.
Yeah, why is the anomaly gone? After Disjunction, anomaly is the complete another confined donut of chaos that you want after you're doing the little plink plink with scout rifles. That would
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is interesting that first of all, shout out to Bungie for the transparency. At least we know finally like kind of what's going on, right? So salute to them for actually telling us what's being weighted, what's not, what's being removed. My only guess would be maybe because of Eruption and the way the map played that they didn't feel from a balance standpoint. I'm just guessing. I don't know. Maybe. I'm with Cross. I want map voting. Obviously, it has to be implemented right. I think that maybe after a certain threshold of matches, it comes up as opposed to every single match, because Cross makes a good point. There will become a time where if you're playing a 6-stack, you with the homies and y'all know y'all kill on certain maps, you know what I'm saying? Like Verdish or whatever, then you could see the snowballing on some level. So I get that. So either some type of cooldown or match threshold, and then the ability comes. But, it is interesting to see why certain things have reduced weighting. And I would love if they gave us that verbiage in the 12 just to see what their thought process is. Like, why do they feel that? I know that's deep level stuff. Shout out to Fireline. Maybe have one of the PvP guys, or we can snatch up Mercules, talk to him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm always going to want choice, you know, and especially the fact that they are the creators of this. They literally have done this and the ranking system and the things that we love Halo for. So that's where I'm at. Trav.
Yeah, so Aztecross is right. There are some like trepidations with map voting, but there's also, these have been solved before, and there's a couple solutions you could do. One is you can, you know, give them 3 options or just 2, and they can be random options, and then they can choose between those. That way maybe they get their second choice or their third choice, but they don't get to just choose one map over and over again. Second thing is you can pair a map choice with a game mode selection. So if they combine some of their playlists into a casual and competitive playlist, both of which had multiple game modes in it, you could say, well, you're going to play this map, but if you play that map, you get this game mode. And then people are weighing 2 things, right? They say,
I like that.
Then they say, okay, well, maybe that's the map I like, but not the game mode I want. So then there's trade-offs, and that has been Halo as well.
That'd be actually,
which they've done.
Yeah,
they need to consolidate the casual, but we've said that before.
Yeah, so if they would need to consolidate their playlists to achieve that, which I've been advocating for forever. But yeah, you can do stuff like that to get around it. So I think it's absolutely achievable. I think it's something that they should implement. But I will say, in order for that to happen, you need maps. You need maps to have map voting. And they don't really have maps. To Aztecross points, they've actually been reducing the number of maps, and some of the better maps are gone. And I don't know that map voting would really impact me a lot right now, because I feel like I don't have a lot of stake in it. You know, the map pops up and I'm like, cool, it's one of these maps. You know, it's not like in other games where I get excited about seeing a certain map or whatever, because I feel like the number of maps has dwindled and there's fewer that I'm enthusiastic about than ever before. And that's sort of a problem. So absolutely solvable problem. Other games have done it. I think they should do it. But again, it kind of speaks to the larger, you need to reinvest in Crucible first and PvP first, which I think they're on the path to doing. I just don't think that we're ready yet. I think we need more maps. I think we need a competitive ranked playlist. I think we need that sort of stuff. And then maybe we get map voting down the road.
Yeah. And even their mentality where with the vault, right, that stuff would go in the vault, that it would be reimagined in D2 and come back, kind of thing. So I would love that. Great point, Trev. I completely agree.
Yeah, I like the mode and map. I think that one, and again, that would take a consolidation, probably something like Nightfall before they mess with the director. But if they can work on some of this type of stuff system-wise, at least in 19, see what we kind of do. Nightfall has potential, because I know, as you guys have been saying, they've been building, they've been hiring, they're getting a couple more maps out, the teams are growing. I gotta hope some part of Nightfall is a pretty good Crucible focus. It is long overdue, as we've all talked about. We've got 1 map a season, one new one. We got Disjunction, 1 reissue, you know, and that type of thing. So there haven't been a ton. Hopefully, Nightfall is kind of that shot in the arm that Crucible needs, and 19 is just the preamble that builds to that. Because, yeah, it's, you know, 3 years for a map, and we're finally getting some this year, but it needs to be on a more consistent basis. There needs to be a team, and they're hiring gobs and gobs of people. So I mean. They got to be going somewhere. Yeah. Okay, I got to do it. Divinity. This is like the most ridiculous, funny thing to watch, because, like, okay, so Salto Greppo, if you don't know what's going on, I would be floored, because even I made a video on it. No, did it get nearly as many views as other people? Don't care, because I just wanted to talk about it because it was too funny. Salto Greppo, 3-time raid race champion. He's got some idea what he's talking about and what works and what doesn't. And the idea was, he mentioned, hey, Divinity is damn near a required weapon in raids. Maybe it could be less effective in some way. That was literally kind of the gist of what he said. I'm not reading the quote exactly, but it was like, you don't need to take it out in the pasture and shoot it. You just need to not make it like the be-all, end-all of weapons. And people lost their mind. I have not watched a Twitter burn down like that in a day in a minute. And I just kind of wanted to get your takes on the idea, because, I mean, recently it happened to Titans. Loreley got brought down a notch, and things like that happen all the time. Ophidian Aspects, just waiting on that one for Warlocks. That might happen at some point.
Stop snitching, bro. What you doing?
Exactly.
Bungie listens here, man. Don't do that to me, bro.
I gotta keep it even. But I wanted to just get your guys' takes. It doesn't even have to be like about you can let me know your thoughts on Divinity, but the idea is, what did you guys think of, for one, the drama, which is probably not even worth that much time, but also two, just the idea of, you know, one thing being the ultra echelon. Is there a way to, how would you change Divinity, and just kind of your takes on it? Cross, I mean, I know you did your video, but I was just kind of curious if you want to, just on the broader spectrum of, you know, where we're at.
I fucking love when this stuff happens. You know, I live for it. When the community just implodes
it's
like
YouTuber
this.
catnip for sure.
Yeah. And you know, normally I try to, like, originally when I saw it, I was like, yeah, you know, I like saw what Salt said, and I was like, okay, well, I get where he's coming from. But I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, he's talking about Divinity. And then the next day I woke up and it was like, oh wow, this community's on fire right now. Like, everybody's talking about Divinity. And then you had the, you know, the elitism, or the elites versus casuals, and all that stuff came out. And so, you know, as far as Divinity goes, it's, you know, there are people that are barely scooting past the finish line during day one raids. And then there's also people that that can barely even get a raid done just regularly, right? And so whenever someone comes out and they're like, this should be harder, that it's not going to be a popular opinion, at least amongst the. And then not only that, Divinity is also not an easy weapon to get.
Nope.
So it's not like this is like everyone is got this drop and it's super easy to you know. No, it's a difficult weapon to get. It's got a long quest associated with it. I don't think you can get it in the kiosk, right? Like, I'm pretty sure the only way you can get it is still through the raid. So yeah, I mean, so you still have people that are probably even now still getting Divinity, because everyone's seeing in, you know, the day one raids, they're like, wow, that, you know, I mean, because we pulled out Divinity and we're, you know, everybody's using Divinity. So I'm sure there were folks that are still going after it even now. So it's able to retain that value. I guess the raid weapon that I would compare it to in terms of popularity, but it still pales in comparison, is Anarchy. Anarchy took over the meta. Anarchy was meta. I mean, it was the PvE meta. Everyone had to have Anarchy. And so, and then GMs, of course, like Anarchy was so good in GMs. I don't think Divinity is on that level. I use it for, you know, for those bosses that are moving a bunch, like War Priests and stuff like that. Yep. And yeah, you can use it for some other things. But, you know, a huge reason why people used it for Oryx still is because other debuffs didn't work on them. So it was like, that's the main reason why people still use Divinity on Oryx. But I don't think it's at that level that Anarchy was at to warrant someone coming in there and nerfing it. So that's my thoughts. I'm trying to think what else I can add to the Divinity discussion, other than I very much enjoyed watching everyone's takes, and I enjoy seeing everyone getting equally shit on.
You here for the
you're just the you're the gif that's just Steve Colbert eating popcorn with the 3D glasses on. Just sit back and watch.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Shout out to Cos, bro. Like, you had so much fun with this in your video. Bro, you had a good old time with this. you was like, this. I don't rate a lot, but, you know, damn, don't take my Divinity picture. Dying.
It's my one job.
I loved it. Shout out to you in the video. Oh, look, I jumped in. This was absolutely hilarious. I went cross here. I didn't see it going into this. Now, let me be clear. You know, Saul, when you look at what he wrote to the letter of the law, I thought he wasn't toxic. I thought he had great points as to explaining himself, as where he was coming from. Yeah. I really didn't have, if you read it objectively, I understood what he was saying.
The internet is not objective. That's the problem.
Exactly. And listen, here's the thing, and I get it, you know, and the thing where it's going to happen is, unfortunately, is that obviously world first, 3-time winner, you know, is Elysium and the crew, shout out to them, you know, so it's already going to be met by like the casual front, like, yo, you up here, we're down here. What do you talk about, bro? I get that. Here's my thing, though. My thing is, overall, I'm with Cross. Like, I still don't think the weapon needs to be touched. And my reason being is, just off the first what he said, look at the acquisition rate of this gun. I'm dying to know what the acquisition in the entire community that has Divinity, because not only is it a specific raid drop, we already know the community percentage of doing raids is low as it is, and that bothers me to my core. I feel raids are some of the best things in Destiny that most Destiny players don't even experience. So that's the first thing. Second, for me, it bothers me only in the sense that I like Divinity, what it stands for, because that's when, to me, Destiny was really embracing support roles and support classes, right? Yep. Remember, when Well came out, these are things that weren't in Destiny. Bubble existed, but they were really going into this like, hey, you can do support, like Lumina, right? Hey, it's a support thing. Boots of the Assembler, this is a support thing. I like when Destiny tries to do that. And then, you know, like I said, I just don't think it's that game changing. You know what I'm saying? Now, where I understand Salt's point, in fairness, is maybe with that upper echelon, right? Where, you know, contest mode, day one, you know, he made in his mind, his team, they like, yo, if this was a way we could truly see the skill gap between the top teams. And I feel that on some level. But yeah, overall, I don't really have a problem with it. I shout out to Bungie though for defending him and saying like, yo, don't come at the guy. You can disagree, but don't be disrespectful. Because some people were just disrespectful to the dude.
Yeah.
And he didn't need that. You know what I'm saying? Overall, I keep it short. Like I said, I don't think anything needs to happen with Divinity. That's me personally. You know, I think it's a great support weapon. And I am curious, though, what happens if anything happens. And that's it. But it was the absolute most funniest thing I've seen on Twitter. This thing was, I was like, why that Divinity is trending on Twitter? What is going on?
Yeah, that is not what you expect.
Like, that's what I love. Anybody who say Destiny is a dead game when Divinity is trending, bro. Trav, I'm dying to hear because I haven't get a chance to talk to you or know what your side is on this.
Yeah, I have a pretty mild take on this one, which was that I had originally gone onto Twitter and I saw the post and I read it and I was like, all right, it's a well-reasoned argument, but, you know, there's stuff I agree with and disagree with, but it was kind of mild. And then I leave Twitter and I come back and a war has broken out and I'm like, what? The war was over that? Like, that's the lamest, like, non-issue, because I guess I just have no horse in the race. Like, I get it. Sometimes it is overrepresented, the fact that it's common in every single encounter. If you're trying to do DPS, that totally makes sense. But also, you know, Destiny's kind of best when you're working together, and people forget Divinity was filling a need that the community itself was asking for, because before that, remember the days of like Titan skating to get that shoulder charge off to do, you know, a debuff on every boss, and you know, that whole thing. And that was sort of part of the culture. And Bungie was like, we could put a gun in the game to do that so that it's less irritating and it's more like a mechanic that actually exists in the game, right? And then they put in Divinity, and I feel like the community was very receptive to it. So I kind of see it as a useful weapon, and I think that it's okay to have weapons that people use. Maybe the counter argument to buffing it is maybe put more support weapons and items in your game rather than debuffing the one that you have. But again, like, it's such a mild take, and I think that his argument makes sense. And you can disagree with it. And I probably find myself on the side that disagrees with overall the idea of removing it. But like, who cares? I just could not bring myself to care about this one. I was like, why are people freaking out over such a non issue? So
I think I know why.
Yeah, I don't know. The Destiny community will fight over everything. It must have been a slow week if they were fighting over everything.
Yeah, pretty much. You know? That's usually how it goes.
I give it to you, E. I think my guess is maybe because of how dominant Elysium is and that team, that I think sometimes casuals do feel like the streaming community and the people have more influence than lead on.
I mean, come on, you've heard of streamer servers, right? Those are a thing. Totally.
Maybe that's what it is, but yeah, Trav, I was shocked that they got all this.
It's backlash to elitism, which certainly exists among streamers.
Of course. Yeah. But to Salt's point, and I'll give it to you. I know I'm interrupting you, but maybe if it does, something happens. Maybe the bubble gets smaller. Maybe the crit spot moves. I think Cross, you made some good points. Other than that, I don't really know what else you could do with it. But I'm curious, E, like, what was your thought when this whole thing, erupted on Twitter?
Outside of just, grabbing the popcorn and watching the trash fire, that's always entertainment. It was just funny to see everybody's takes, but it kind of honestly just made me think about the weapon and what it does. And mine is more just kind of coming back to, I'm still waiting at some point for us to have some kind of, and maybe it's like a Vex situation, you could do this. There has to be some kind of encounter that Bungie can build. And again, this is maybe based on PS4 and Xbox One, just because they're older systems, maybe it couldn't handle everything that I'm going to describe. But typically what we shoot at is one big dude somewhere. And what are we going to do? Well, outside of, Kali in Last Wish, who's got really tiny head. Outside of her, most of the bosses have a really big area to hit. And this is just kind of changing where that is, making it a little more reasonable in case they just like bob and weave and they're boxing up there. One of the ones I saw was about accessibility, and I actually like the idea that that does help with accessibility. It's like some people don't have like the precision motor skills, whether it be multiple things, anything physical for sure. I'm like, and it helps them hit a crit. Cool. More people can do the raid. That I have no problem with. My idea would be sometime at some point, can we ever get a boss that's made up of a bunch of small things? And it doesn't have to be Siva, but it's a bunch of small things. And then you go to do damage phase. And what is damage phase? A lot of those pieces, like the main part could be immune, but a lot of the pieces split off. And now you have like 6 people around like an arena and they're working on picking off a bunch of little things where Divinity doesn't do you a damn bit of good anyway. Like I would like to see some type of boss design where Divinity doesn't have big dude to stare at you shooting stuff all the time. Find a way to, a different mechanic space, multiple enemies, like a large quantity of targets that you have to shoot to do damage. And that's kind of one of the ways that I would like to see them, circumvent that in a way. Just because we have had the War Priests and we've had, now we had, I can't even remember the thing. But I mean, we keep having, even now, even though I really enjoyed Rolk as an encounter because he moved, you were up there, he's going to walk up and kick you like a Dark Souls boss. People still Divinity him because he's real slow. And I want to see this like swarm situation. I want to see a different style. That's all.
No, I get you. It's tough, for them as bosses. And one thing I will give them credit with Val, I always felt Caretaker doesn't get enough credit because even though, forget the Divinity thing, Divinity, you're right. You put that on the big bubble or somebody, the crit spot's bigger. We get it. But what I liked about it is prior to that Caretaker, you throw that well down in the spot, and all 6 boys get together, let's go, lace them up. But they moving. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, so you waste that first well on the plate, and it's like, oh, damn, or you waste that ball. Like, you've got to be strategic with it. And I like that they kept moving in the verticality kept moving. So that was cool. But yeah, you're right. That's just more boss design. That's more also stuff that Travis has talked about, where that danger threat, you have to go up and do things to make you uncomfortable, like how the Hive Guardians do. And that's on them. That's on them. I mean, I don't envy them. I mean, they've made some great stuff, but yeah, I don't know how they do it, but that is a cool idea as far as trying to do things to kind of circumvent.
Yeah, I mean, Val was a step. You said it right. Val was a step in that direction. Wells are much less useful because whether it was Rolk or Caretaker, you're never standing in the full length of anything. Same with a bubble. Both of those main ones they got away from. So then it was like grenades for debuffs that you could throw. Divinity is still kind of there. But I mean, yeah, that's them stepping away from stand in one spot, shoot at guy. Like they are trying to move the players around a little more and keep the mixer going. So that was kind of my take on it. Just because the whole bunch of like fire and elitism and all, I was like, that was just watching all the replies and checking out everybody's videos, which were fun. Aztecross has me rolling on the floor over here. So I mean, it's all that type of stuff was great. But just it more made me kind of just wonder. I was like, what would I do? And that was just kind of what it was. Last thing I did want to get to is we're kind of talking about raids as we are right now. King's Fall Hard Mode is coming out on Tuesday. And outside of, obviously we're going to have challenges and we're going to have hard mode. It's going to be 1600. I wanted to ask you guys if you feel hard mode King's Fall is worth it.
Can I go first? I know we got our guest.
Absolutely. I mean, you seem to want to jump on this one, so all right.
I want to shout my guest out because I'm with him, man. Like, here's my thing. I'm team rewards. I'm team reward. But like, what we gonna do with this adept in the crafting situation, Cross? I gotta set you up, bro. Like, I get it, but it's like if I can craft, why am I going to do adept? Right. You know what I'm saying? And I want to.
Why is that a problem?
I want to hand it to Cross on that because he has some interesting things on, and I'm just curious has your mindset changed, or do you think there's things they can do to kind of incentivize?
Well, yeah, there's really no. It's kind of like Val. There's really no desire for the adept versions. You don't want Insidious adept when you can get enhanced perks Insidious, right? And that's with all the raid weapons. Someone brought up, what if adepts just dropped with enhanced perks already on them? That seems, you're still subject to RNG on that one. But you're completely bypassing the whole crafting portion, which is the whole reason behind it. I think something that could give value to adept weapons, even outside of them being adept, which I know I actually wonder how Bungie's going to deal with this with all of our other weapons. But maybe adepts could have a second trait unlocked, so you can have 2 traits there instead of just one. Now, I think that should be the case for all crafted weapons. But if you want it, you want to just give some benefits to adepts, make them craftable, and because you would have to do master mode
so many times.
It's already rare to get the weapon patterns anyways for the base raid. To go through that for master mode, and there needs to be some more upside there.
Great. Trav, you had a counter?
Yeah, my personal opinion on this is I don't think there's that it's broken. I think it's working as intended, and I think it's kind of beautiful the way that they've set it up in a way. And let me explain that, because I think weapon crafting is for people who, like me, consider themselves pretty hardcore, but absolutely refuse to participate in the grind for a god roll weapon. Like, to me, it's just not worth the squeeze, and that's because I've got other games to play, and I don't take pleasure in redoing the same activities over and over and over again. And some people really like that. Some people like to just grind out that 1% extra of DPS and efficiency. Teddy is one of them, and we don't see eye to eye on that issue. Like, I'm like, yo, I got life to live up in here. I'm not trying to do the same strike 18 times. And he's like, what's life? And that's fine. Those are just different lives.
Shout to Teddy.
Teddy getting crapped on today.
Teddy
Sorry,
been getting that work this episode.
Sorry, man. I've been hanging out with him, so he's my buddy. But the thing is, crafted weapons are kind of a middle ground, right? Because they're hard to get. Like right now, getting the raid weapons, I got to do the raid multiple times, and I can get maybe 95% of the way to having my god roll weapon with a crafted weapon. But if you really want that extra 5%, you got to grind your ass off. And I think that is good for the people who are looking for more excuses and reasons to play Destiny and who just want to live in the world. They can get that extra 5%, but they can do so without making the other players like myself feel like we just have no chance to compete, because it's not that much more of an advantage. I could still beat you in trials if you have the adept version. You're just going to have an advantage over me. And I think that is sort of perfect, because you want to give people reasons to play, but you want to do so without them leaving the hardcore but not grind-friendly players in the dust. And so I kind of like the way that they've set it up. Adept can be slightly better. Where they maybe don't get it wrong is when the adept versions feel like they maybe aren't as good as crafting, which they sometimes do. And that is sort of a problem. But that's not always the case, especially the last 2 seasons. I would say the Witch Queen release season, I felt like the adept weapons were better than the crafted ones. So I think they've done a pretty good job in many cases. But if they can just make the adept weapons a little bit better, I think that's the best case scenario. I don't agree with the notion that adept weapons should be like fantastically better, because unless it's locked behind the lighthouse, I ain't doing it. I'm just not gonna. I'm not your guy. I'm not doing Gambit. I'm not doing Grandmaster Strikes. I'm sorry. I find that stuff boring.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So, interesting. You haven't said.
Hey, if you want to leave me in the dust and make the adept weapons great, fine. I still won't do it. But I feel like I just feel like they would be doing a disservice to most of their players. So.
E.
I am not in agreement with Travis on this one, but that's not really a big surprise. No, because when you're saying like for 5%, I don't think it's 5% better. I think honestly, when you take a enhanced crafted weapon versus the god roll, which theoretically could take much longer to get, maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't. maybe you get them at the exact same time. One has an Adept mod, one has enhanced perks on it, and then the Adept mod, you're talking about on an average over the course of an entire DPS phase. I mean, it's probably like 0.5%. It doesn't feel like it's much, like 1%, 0.5%. And then if you like have to itch your eye in the middle of a DPS phase, it's like neutralized. So like it's the point to where you have enhanced perks that get double benefit. I like what Cross said, actually. If you have more perks unlocked, maybe a raid weapon. If you go through all of the hell of Master Mode, and you've got, for one, having a chance for enhanced perks, I think would help. But 2, have 2, or maybe 3 might be a bit much, could be crazy, but have a lot of perks to drop on the weapon so people have less of a grind in Master. But also on the other side, half of the drops you're going to get in Master are these pieces of armor that are very stat focused for the week. Well, if I'm a Titan and it's going to be mobility week, I have absolutely zero incentive if I get unlucky. If I get armor, and that's all I get for the week, and it's all mobility, my week just got crapped on, and it doesn't do me any good, and we don't get double drops from Master if it works the way I think Vogue or these other ones did. If you go do Master, you don't get the normal drops. Is that correct, or is that not? I know there's been questions.
For the challenge, then you get double drops for the challenge.
That's right. The challenge you do get. But if you do Master, and you get this mobility armor, and you're like, well, I don't want that, so you almost need to go do normal, see what you get, and then maybe go do the other. It just... Also, Artifice armor, still just hanging out in dungeons. Yep. Not in a raid. I'm still waiting for armor 3.0. Maybe 11 energy. Can you imagine what 11 energy would do to go with that?
Can I get the raid perk for free?
Yeah, can the raid perks be 0? Like just any of those little tweaks to make the armor worth it for me. Those are all the little things that would set it apart and be like, hey, if I go get 11 energy. 1 is typically not going to make a difference. Most of the crazy mods are 6 and 7, so you're still not going to hit 13 for the crazy, 5th column mods. Just a little bit. Yeah, Artifice armor was honestly like, hey, and then a big just wind out of my sails. I could care less about Artifice armor because most of the time you're just stretching that same tin thinner. So that's kind of, for me, I mean, I got lucky enough to actually have a group that I've run with both in Val and a little bit consistently here in Kingsfall, and I've been lucky enough to raid a bit consistently, and it's like, hey, I'm working on crafted weapons, get some decent armor. But yeah, Master, our group's decent, but I was like, it's not going to be probably worth it, and that's just unfortunate. So that's kind of where I'm at on it.
In Travis' defense, Bungie's in agreement with him. They are leaving it as is.
So I know. I'm fully aware.
Their mindset is, it has a line.
What incentive would they have to change it? Because all the diehards are grinding for it, even though they complain about it. They're grinding for the adept weapons, and the people who don't grind for it don't feel bad about missing out on it. So that's like, isn't that a win-win for them? Why would they change it?
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious if they ever talk about it.
You guys can keep complaining, but until you stop grinding for it,
I don't.
I have not touched Master. I've never touched Master. Yeah, I don't touch Master raids.
Once just for the stream, but I never played. I just went back to normal.
Yep.
And the difference is, it's like Palindrome, and those like Nightfall related weapons and trial weapons. I will grind for those adepts, but that's because there's not a counter version of them that's better.
Right. That's the difference, yeah. I mean, the bow coming up for trials, by the way, if there's a backpack space to anybody out there, the Whistler's Whim, that bow, I really, really want it. I love bows just for PvE alone. It's got Alacrity, it's going to have Vice Stinger, it's loaded with perks on it. I want that bow so bad. Yeah. But you can't get that anywhere else. You can't go get it in a raid. You can't get a craftable in an adept version. You just get the roll. And that's why when you have a craftable that can get like 99% of the way there, Master does not feel worth, that juice is not worth the squeeze in my opinion. And I mean, Dado's on vacation right now. Master Raid comes out next week. He's like, I don't care. And he's one of the big ones who raids. Will Saltagrep will probably do it? Sure, because he'll probably go do it fast. But I would be, if they do it, it's probably very begrudgingly that they do it. And granted, you could say that about a lot of things in Destiny, depending on what you're talking about. But I don't think there's...
Welcome to the life of a PvP player. That's all I gotta say.
That's fine. I'm just saying as well, I don't think this is... I just have a different opinion than they do, and apparently that's just not going to change. But I just don't think the grind and...
Good on you, Bungie.
I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze.
Stop influencing the damn dance fast. Buddha, real quick, ask a question for you, E, because you're an armor guy. He said, how many, talk about why, with the weapon crafting, why you can't get armor crafting the same way. Would you like armor crafting, E? Your armor 3.0 guy.
Would armor crafting involve like crafting your stats? See, I wonder, I've always said I want armor 3.0 because typically once you have like, you could probably have 8 sets of armor in theory, like Arc, Solar, Void, Stasis, maybe a PvE set and a PvP set. If you want to go into certain builds, you can go crazy with it. But most of the time, that'll get you covered, especially if you get some high rolls. Somebody grinds out enough, even a crazy hardcore grinder. Like, I mean, God knows how many hours some of us have. You put that many hours in, you really get, there's not much else you need out of a set of armor because at that point, they all cap at 10 energy. You're still going to move mods around. They gave us modding, which is fine. But until they give more energy, more slots, honestly, if they would get rid of the Arc, Solar, Void stuff so you could just use all the mods, that'd be more fun. But crafting would be, that would have to be like crafting your own stats at that point, which they kind of teased at. Yeah, yes. Crafting into the stats. They kind of did that with, what was it? The recent Solstice? Is that? I mean, that was the closest because I got, as a Titan, I went Resilience, Recov. Like, Resilience was high. So I got like 20, and then I got my Recov. And then if I could get a split, depending on where I wanted it, I could almost build what I wanted there. That's the closest we've got to it. But, I mean, that's, I think, all I would do. For me, what would you guys, would you guys change? Is armor, is it just kind of there? Are you guys good? Do you like armor? Are you bored with it? Am I the only one who feels this way? I'm just curious.
I'll ask Cross.
I think that's definitely the next evolution they're going to have to go. Because I feel like something has to be paired with like these big annual expansions, right? And so, the armor crafting thing is like, what do we do there? Do we crank it to 11, which would add a lot? Do we collapse elemental affinities? Which they've done multiple times. Armor's changed so much over the years, right? They've moved mods around. I mean, what was things like hands-on used to be on class item, and then they moved it up to helmets. You know what I mean? And so the thing is like armor the way it is now is Bungie's way of like that. They're able to balance things based on the structure of armor now. So I feel like if they were to introduce some major changes, it would mess up the structure they've created so far. But as far as just armor crafting goes, and to nail down just the perfect stat roll that you want, I would like that. But then what happens when Guardian Games rolls back around and they're trying to get people to go, or Solstice, right? And they're trying to get people to go jump in those activities for those armor roll drops. You know what I mean? Where's the incentive? And so, not that armor is like a big incentive, but it was for me there. What was it? Was it Solstice where you could get the perfect stats?
Damn near.
So I would actually stick around for stuff like that. But it's one of those things that I have to just kind of leave it up to whatever Bungie's vision is on that one.
Yeah. Not much to add. It's a tough one. I don't know how they're gonna handle armor, to be honest. It's a tough one. Now that they boxed themselves in, it's just I don't envy them with all. And then you got the like you said, the affinity. You've got the extra slot. Then you've got my concern is the build. You know what I'm saying, and how you got Warmind cells. You got the wells. I just want to know what's the next evolution. And now with the affinity, how do we tie it all in when you want to kind of advance? And the other thing for me, like I've always said, like I crutch on exotics a lot. So to me, I would like a system that helps me incentivize me that if I stick with like a legendary set, that there's bonuses or they played with
set
it
bonuses
with Gambit Prime.
Right.
And I thought we were going to go that direction a little bit more. And then it just seemed like they got scared for whatever reason and it never came back. I thought they were going there because I look at games like Division and I sit there and I'm like, okay, the armor set, right? Like, okay, if I wear this legendary armor set, I should get some type of benefit for the set. And they just keep dipping their toe in. They don't really, you know what I'm saying? Even this season, right?
You just get more currency. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, put on the set and you get some extra Umbral energy thing for the pirate crash. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I just do it the normal way. Like, give me some real incentive because otherwise I'm going to crutch on exotics. You telling me these exotics are doing these great things? What's my the one that look like the Statue of Liberty, the Warlock joint with the traces?
I can't remember the name. Yeah.
I got that thing with the delicate tone. Oh, I'm eating out here, baby. I'm getting all the ARC 3.0 charges. I'm amplified all day. Why am I going to take that off?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I want Bungie to do. If they could figure that out, I'm not saying it's easy. I do not have the answer. I would love to see legendary sets with some tangible bonuses, or maybe, builds with they influence in that way somehow. So I don't envy them. I'm not a designer, but just ideas.
All right. I want to make sure we respect Cross's time here. But I wanted a couple quick fire questions just before we get out of here. They're just a couple ridiculous ones and one to make you think. First one, favorite sandwich?
I guess just a turkey sandwich.
Yeah, real safe. It's just turkey.
Do you have a favorite
post Thanksgiving like cold turkey bread situation or?
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, the thick slabs of turkey. Yeah.
All right.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite cocktail? Or
no.
non-alcoholic beverage if you prefer. There's no judgment here.
No, I'm not really a big drinker. I'll get an old fashioned or like a Manhattan every now and then. So that's about it though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Final one. When the Light and Dark saga ends, will our vault be wiped?
Oh, I hope not. I have my life in that thing. Yeah, you could take a lot of things from my life, not my vault.
Yeah. He's had some of those weapons longer than his marriage lasted. Okay, you can't take that from him.
How long you been sitting on that joke?
Yeah, no, I hope and that leads to the other questions, like where are they going to go narratively after that? They got to go somewhere because nobody's dropping $3.6 billion for no reason. So it's going, whatever vision they showed Sony, they liked it.
Yeah.
Different games that aren't Destiny. That was the vision.
Oh,
they even said they said Destiny's going to have like another 10 years or somewhere in some recent interview I saw. Yeah, so, it's going to keep living. Yeah. So, I'm with you. I'm very curious between mobile game.
It's gonna be an awesome anime. I'm excited.
Apparently, I need to watch Edge Runners. That one sounded pretty good. But yeah, no, I was like, I'm with you. I'm so curious because we're having this. Eventually, feels like Final Shape is getting Traveler, Witness, Gardener, Winnower, whatever the big showdown is in the final one. And I'm going, and I've asked these guys before and other guests. I'm going. The big expansion is usually the end of is the major story beats. Mm-hmm. And this is how I'm wondering how, because that's going to be season 24, if my math is right, for the final year.
Yep.
Season 24 is the expansion of Final Shape. What in the world is season 21, 22, 23 going to be about when we get this giant epic battle that goes off and be like, yeah, here's, I don't know, we're going to go hang out with Spider for a little while and do some... Those 3 seasons between there and whatever comes next, I have no idea if it's an expansion, time off. It. Who knows? I can't figure out what goes there. It's just going to feel weird to me.
Season of the goodbyes. That's what it'll be. It'll all be social. It'll all be social link dating sims. Where you sort of settle into your new life now that the darkness has been defeated. And you just sort of explore romances that have been building
dating in the last
surface.
Dating in the last city.
Yes. Dating in the last city. Well, now it's the first city.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This is a hopeful ending. Okay?
This is Neomuna. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Granted, I think I might date one of those. What are they? Cloud Strider.
Oh yeah.
Those they're put together well, aren't they? They've hit the gym for approximately forever.
I got 2 questions. Two quick fires before we get Cross out of here. Favorite PvP weapon of all time? And favorite raid.
You had to do raids. I forgot.
Had to do raid, baby. We got to do it.
So I'm going to start with the raid, and it's going to be one that, well, oh man.
You can do top three. You can do top three if that helps.
Top three. Yeah, but you got to do it in order. You got to pick between your kids.
That's harsh.
I would say, I think, let's see, Deepstone Crypt was number 3 for me because, and it's just simply because of the space station. Yeah,
get it.
Cool. I freaking, I mean that's still the deal for me on that raid. And then let's see, Crown, but I know a lot of people didn't like Crown that much. I liked Crown because it was the first dungeon that I did like a duo thing with was it Fami from Redeem, and that was a lot of fun, just adding that extra bit of challenge to it.
My man Gaben Forte happy right now. He love Crown. Go ahead.
And then my number 1 definitely is now Val.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, Val to me, just from the lore to the creepy nature of inside. And when you first saw that worm out there,
dude.
I mean, like, dude, they nailed it. They nailed it. So, and then you would go through that dungeon. So I'm all about atmosphere.
Okay.
And so that's how that
best.
that dungeon nailed it for me.
Okay, salute, no doubt, no doubt. And did you say the PvP?
PvP weapon?
PvP weapons. You
go top 3. You go top 3. PvP, legendaries, exotics, whatever you want to
do. Let's see. I would say,
what was that gun? What was those guns you were slaying that you love?
I would say the Last Word is what really started it for me back in D1.
Well, you're on the right podcast then.
Yeah, right. A lot of people say that, but the reason why I love Last Word is because I thought it was shit at first. And remember back then you had to level up the guns, right? And so I used it, and I remember I got it. I want to say I got the weapon within the first 2 weeks of Destiny. I played it in one match. It did terrible for me, and I was like, dude, this is garbage. Threw it in my vault. Didn't even think about it. And then eventually I got around to actually leveling up to that, that Last Word perk. And I was like, oh my Lord, this thing's busted. Like, why have I not played with it until now, And so that's when that happened. I was that guy that never took it off and played with it in every match. But as far as other weapons, I have a lot of love for a lot of different weapons. Whether it has been that Palindrome or that Kindle Orchid that could roll Rampage and kill Clip together.
I want those weapons back so bad.
I had it too. That was Black Armory. Yes. What was it, a 140? What was that? What was that?
It was 140, yeah.
Yeah. It was nice. It's nice. So you got that Kindle. Okay. Cool. Any other quick fire ones?
It's the most hated weapon to me, but I have to throw it on the list because it's I hate it, but at the same time it brought entertainment. Lord of Wolves.
My man.
You just won him over right there.
My mans. Let's go. Let's go.
It absolutely infuriated me.
Yes.
But it made for some good content for sure.
Mm-hmm. Got that emblem where it was terrorized.
Oh God, that and laser tag. We have 2 emblems for 2 metas. Yeah, that's still there.
Yeah, no doubt. No, salute to Cross, man.
Well,
any other further?
Travis, you got anything else? Or you good?
Are you good, Trav? Okay,
good,
cool.
Man.
Well, I first just want to say thank you on behalf of all of us for taking time out of your evening to chat with us. It has been an absolute pleasure. If anybody doesn't know who you are, I'm going to be ultra surprised. But this is where we typically open the floor to say, hey, where do people find your content? So the floor is yours. If you don't know who he is, you're an idiot. But please, Aztecross, please tell them still where to find all of your stuff. And if maybe there's, an OnlyFans you haven't mentioned yet, feel free to throw that out there too.
That was going to be the first one I was going to mention. No, you can find me anywhere at Aztecross on all platforms, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, or even on, I think, Instagram and some TikTok
and Grindr.
Like that.
You find them on
Grinder for sure. Shadow.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's where you can find me.
No doubt, the legendary, man. Aztecross in the building, long overdue, man. Thank you for taking the time out today. Huge fan of you, man. Keep killing it with the content. Absolutely hilarious. The only Titan I allow to slander Warlock. You know I like you. You know I come in here and I go at. I'm like, what? This Warlock slander? But it's so funny, man. Salute to you. You bring a nice
all about
energy
how you present it.
Oh, last day gonna kill me in my own clan. They said, Cross, do you have the Iron Lord title? They killing me about that. Do you have it? They want to know.
Here's the thing. I don't. I don't have the Iron Lord title. I need to 100% put out more in Iron Banner.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I have some.
An Iron Banner. Okay.
I definitely need to pick it up there.
No,
So we're still talking about Grinder.
That'd be a messy. Anyway, yo, salute to you, brother. God, love the content, man. Absolute pleasure. Always welcome to come back. Keep doing what you do, man. Love the energy, and I love that you found your unique lane in the game, and people love you, man. People love you, man. So salute to the Cross.
Much
Always
love, guys.
nasty. You already know. Trav.
Yeah.
E, you want to say anything to say that, brother, out here?
Yeah. I mean, just about as genuine as you could ask for anybody to be. Hilarious, honest, and just, a pillar of the community. It's not the Destiny community without you at this point. So keep doing what you're doing and just ride that rocket ship as high as it goes at this point. So happy to share some time to chat with you. It's like GCX is a horrible time to meet anybody who's popular enough that everybody knows what they look like. Cause I'm like, hey, how you? Okay, but I was like, but I get it because you and 1,000 other people are like, I know you. And it's like, so it was like, believe me, that's why I was like, it's our pleasure.
It was good bumping into you though, man. Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't get a chance to meet you.
That's why I was like, we appreciate the time here to take a chance to get to know you more. And we got even more than we expected, especially with that opening section, which was fantastic.
Yes.
But from all of us here at The Last Word, do you guys want to do instant outros? We'll finish this thing up. Travis?
Yeah, let's get them out here.
Yep. It's outros. I covered Tokyo Game Show this week, specifically Capcom. So they have a bunch of announcements that you'll start to see come out starting at 10 p.m. tonight because it's on Japanese time. I did a ton of coverage for that. It's going to be coming out over the weekend as TGS goes on. I also reviewed some games, I'm sure that, Disney Dreamlight. We talked about that last week. And then my next review is the 1.0 release of Grounded,
nice.
which is coming out, I think, on September 24th or 26th or something like that. So I just started diving into the full 1.0 early access copy I've got last night. So look out for that on IGN.com and follow me on Twitter if you hate yourself, or tell your enemies to follow me on Twitter. That'll teach them. That's it. What do you got, Cog?
Yo, at LordCognito on Twitter. Every day, Sunday's the Lord's Day. Check us out. 1 p.m. Eastern, talking about what's going on in the gaming industry, all that good stuff. Also did a Defining Duke with Mr. Matty Plays, talking about Tokyo Game Show, the stuff that was revealed on the Xbox side. Come check that out. And salute to lordsofgaming.net. My brother's putting out some good content. Go check that out. What you got going?
Oh, you broke a story this week, by the way.
Yeah, first one. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, first one with the Halo situation. Much love.
For me, just about as easy. It's Ebontis everywhere, whether it's Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. If you want to come hang out, you guys know where to find me. But yeah, thank you guys all. Chat, you guys have been absolutely on fire. All of you guys who are in here live. Cross, absolutely our pleasure. Thank you very much. Chat, loved you as well. And
it was nasty.
For this episode, the nasty is going to depart the building now. So for this episode number 215 on this September 15th, it has been The Last Word.